I erased her from every inch of this room.
The notification sound on Caleb Walker's phone cut through the soft jazz playing at Romano's, their favorite anniversary restaurant. 5 years married, and Alicia still looked stunning in that red dress he'd bought her last Christmas. She was mid-sentence about their upcoming vacation when the airdrop alert appeared. Unknown video file received. Caleb's finger hovered over the accept button. Alicia didn't notice, busy scrolling through dessert options on her phone. The sender was listed as Truth Teller. He accepted it. The video opened with shaky footage of their wedding night at the Grand Harbor Hotel. Caleb recognized their honeymoon suite immediately. The marble bathroom, the king bed with rose petals he'd scattered himself. But the timestamp showed 11:47 p.m., exactly when he'd been downstairs in the hotel bar, celebrating with his groomsmen. On screen, his wife was without clothes, riding another man. Not just any man. Brandon Fields from her marketing firm. The same Brandon who'd given a toast at their wedding. The same Brandon who called Caleb brother and came to their barbecues. Caleb's hand started shaking. The video was crystal clear, shot from multiple angles like someone had set up cameras. Alicia's face was unmistakable as she moaned Brandon's name, her wedding dress crumpled on the floor beside them. The video ended with a text overlay. Want to see the rest? There's so much more. Honey, are you okay? Alicia reached across the table, touching his wrist. You look pale. Caleb turned his phone screen toward her, watched her face transform from concern to shock to something that looked almost like relief. Not shame, not guilt. Relief. Tell me this isn't you, he whispered, his voice barely audible over the restaurant chatter. In our hotel bed, while I gave my vows downstairs. Alicia glanced around, then leaned back in her chair. Her expression hardened in a way he'd never seen before. When she spoke, her voice was calm, almost amused. You were never enough, Caleb. Never. The words hit him like a physical blow. 5 years of marriage, 3 years of dating before that, and she delivered that line like she was commenting on the weather. How long? He managed. Does it matter? She signaled for the check. I'm going home. We'll talk about this later. She stood, grabbed her purse, and walked out of the restaurant without looking back. Left him sitting there with a $200 dinner bill and a video of his wife in bed with another man on their wedding night. Caleb paid the check with hands that wouldn't stop trembling. In the parking lot, he sat in his car for 20 minutes, watching the video again and again. Each viewing revealed new details that made it worse. The way she kissed Brandon, the way she never kissed him, the passion in her eyes that he'd never seen directed at him. His phone buzzed. Another airdrop from Truth Teller. This time it was a folder, dozens of photos and videos spanning months. Alicia and Brandon in hotel rooms, in his car, in their house, his house, while he was at work. Screenshots of text messages that made his stomach turn. God, I can't wait to leave him. Just need a few more months to set everything up. Caleb's so pathetic. He has no idea. Last night he tried to be romantic, and I literally had to think about you to get through it. I'm pregnant. Don't worry. Timing works out. He'll think it's his. The last message was dated 3 months ago. Emma, their 2-year-old daughter with her mother's dark hair and what Caleb had always thought were his green eyes. Except now, looking at the photos of Brandon, he saw those same green eyes staring back at him. Caleb drove home in a daze. The house was dark except for the porch light. Alicia's car wasn't in the driveway. He checked Emma's room, empty crib, no babysitter. His wife had taken their daughter and disappeared. His phone rang. Alicia. Where are you? He asked. Somewhere safe. We need to talk, but not tonight. I need time to think. Time to think? About what? About how you've been cheating on me since our wedding night? About how my daughter might not be mine? Don't be dramatic, Caleb. This doesn't have to get ugly. Doesn't have to get ugly? He laughed, surprised by how bitter it sounded. You slept with another man in our wedding bed, and I'm the one being dramatic? The line went quiet for a moment. Then, Alicia's voice returned, colder than before. You want to know the truth? Fine. I never loved you. I loved your stability, your paycheck, your willingness to take care of everything while I figured out what I really wanted. But I never loved you. And now I know what I want. Brandon. Brandon, we're going to be together, and you're going to make this easy for everyone involved, especially for Emma. Emma, who might not even be my daughter. DNA tests can be arranged if you really want to go down that road. But ask yourself, do you really want to know? Because once you know, you can't unknow it. She hung up. Caleb stood in his empty house, surrounded by photos of what he'd thought was his happy family. Wedding pictures where Alicia smiled at the camera instead of at him. Baby photos where Emma looked more like Brandon every day. Family vacation shots where Alicia checked her phone more than she looked at him. The signs had been there. He'd just been too trusting, too comfortable, too stupid to see them. His phone buzzed again, a text from an unknown number. She's been planning this for over a year. Bank records, real estate transfers, custody paperwork, it's all been in motion. She's been stealing from you, Caleb. Time to steal back. Another message followed immediately. Lauren wants to see you tomorrow. She has something you need to hear. Lauren, his sister, the only family he had left after their parents died in that car crash 3 years ago. Lauren, who'd never liked Alicia but kept quiet for his sake. Caleb poured himself 3 fingers of bourbon and sat in his home office. On his computer, he pulled up their joint bank accounts. Their savings account, the one they'd been building for Emma's college fund, showed a balance of $247. Last month, it had been $28,000. Their checking account was overdrawn. The investment account he'd been contributing to for 5 years was empty. He checked the mortgage on their house. A second mortgage had been taken out 6 months ago for $180,000. He'd never signed any paperwork. His hands were steady now. The shock was wearing off, replaced by something colder, something focused. He opened a new browser window and started researching divorce lawyers. Then he stopped, pulled out his phone, and sent a text to his sister. Can we meet tonight? It's important. Her response came immediately. I've been waiting for this call for months. Come over, now. Lauren lived 20 minutes away in a downtown loft she'd bought with her pharmaceutical sales commissions. When Caleb arrived, she was waiting with a bottle of wine and a thick manila folder. You found out, she said. It wasn't a question. You knew? I've known for 8 months. I hired a private investigator. She handed him the folder. I was waiting for you to figure it out yourself, but when that didn't happen, I had to find another way. You sent me the videos. I sent you the truth. Caleb, she's been systematically stealing from you while planning to leave you for Brandon, but it's worse than just an affair. Caleb opened the folder. Bank statements, credit reports, property documents, drafts of custody filings. Legal papers bearing Alicia's signature, claiming he was emotionally manipulative, controlling with money, and putting their child at risk. She's really trying to paint you as some kind of dangerous, unfit partner, he asked. She already has. Filed a preliminary report with social services last month claiming you've been controlling her finances and showing signs of violent behavior. She's building a case to take Emma and half of everything you own. Emma might not even be mine. Lauren's expression softened. I know. I got hair samples from her brush last time I babysat. The DNA test is in there too. Caleb found the lab report. Emma Walker was not his biological daughter. He'd raised another man's child for 2 years while that man slept with his wife in his own bed. There's more, Lauren said gently. The fraud goes deeper than you think. She's been forging your signature on loan documents. She opened credit cards in your name. She even tried to put the house up for sale using a fake power of attorney. How is any of this legal? It's not. She's committed identity theft, fraud, forgery, and probably a dozen other crimes. But she's been smart about it, spacing things out, making it look like normal financial activity. Caleb studied the documents. Bank withdrawals that coincided with hotel receipts for her and Brandon. Credit card charges for jewelry he'd never seen her wear. A lease agreement for an apartment across town signed 6 months ago. She's been living a double life, he murmured. Triple life. The investigator found another man too, some doctor she's been seeing when Brandon's busy. She's been playing all of you. The room spun slightly. Caleb reached for the wine and drank directly from the bottle. What do I do? You get angry, then you get even. Lauren pulled out her laptop. I've been documenting everything for months. Every affair, every financial crime, every lie she's told. We have enough evidence to put her in prison and make sure she never sees Emma again. Emma's not my daughter. Maybe not biologically, but you've been her father for 2 years. You love her. Don't let Alicia use that against you. Caleb stared at photos of Emma on Lauren's coffee table. The little girl who called him daddy, who ran to him when she had nightmares, who fell asleep on his chest while they watched cartoons on Saturday mornings. I need to think. Don't think too long. She's moving fast. I think she's planning to file for divorce next week, right after she transfers the last of your investments to accounts you can't access. Caleb drove home slowly, his mind racing. The house felt different now, like a crime scene instead of a home. Every room held evidence of his wife's betrayal. Every photo on the wall was a lie. He went to his office and opened his laptop, started researching. Private investigators, divorce attorneys, financial fraud attorneys, criminal attorneys. By 3 a.m., he had a plan. By dawn, he was someone else entirely. The first call was to Victor Crane, the most ruthless divorce attorney in the state. Crane specialized in high-asset divorces where one party had committed fraud. His consultation fee was $500. His retainer was $25,000. His success rate was 97%. Mr. Walker, I have reviewed the preliminary evidence your sister sent over. This is extensive fraud, and frankly, your wife has made some very sloppy mistakes. How do you want to proceed? I want to destroy her, legally, completely. Understood. I'll need full access to all your financial records, and I'll need you to document every interaction with your wife from this point forward. Don't let her know what you're planning. What about Emma? We'll establish paternity through legal channels. If she's not your biological daughter, that actually strengthens your case for fraud. Your wife has been accepting child support under false pretenses. The second call was to Devlin Marks, the private investigator Lauren had recommended, former FBI, specializing in financial crimes and infidelity cases. I need everything on my wife and her lover. Everything. I don't care what it costs. Mr. Walker, based on what your sister's already uncovered, I'd say we're looking at a comprehensive investigation. Full surveillance, financial forensics, digital recovery. This could run $20,000 or more. Do it. The third call was to his bank. I need to freeze all joint accounts immediately. Suspected fraud. It took 2 hours and a stack of paperwork, but by noon, Alicia's access to their remaining money was cut off. His phone started ringing 20 minutes later. What the heck did you do? Alicia's voice was shrill, panicked. My card was declined at the grocery store. I protected my assets from further theft. You can't just freeze our accounts. Actually, I can, especially when I have evidence that you've been stealing from those accounts to fund your affair. Silence. Then, I don't know what you think you know. I know about Brandon. I know about the doctor. I know about the apartment you've been renting. I know about the fake power of attorney and the forged loan documents. I know Emma isn't mine. More silence. I'm coming home. We need to talk. No, you're not welcome here anymore. I've changed the locks. You can't lock me out of my own house. It's not your house. Check the deed. Your fake power of attorney doesn't hold up under legal scrutiny. He hung up. Within an hour, Alicia was banging on his front door. He watched through the security camera as she tried her key, then started shouting. Neighbors were starting to notice. He opened the door but kept the chain latched. We can do this easy or we can do this hard, he said calmly. Easy means you get a lawyer and we work through the legal system. Hard means I release everything I know to your employer, your family, and the media. You're bluffing. Am I? He held up his phone, showing a video of her and Brandon in what looked like her office after hours. Should I send this to your boss now, or do you want to have a civilized conversation? Alicia's face went pale. Let me in. No. You made your choice when you decided to steal from me and sleep with other men in my bed. Now you live with the consequences. Where am I supposed to go? Try your apartment on Maple Street, the one you signed a lease for 6 months ago. Her mouth fell open. She hadn't expected him to know about that. How did you... I know everything, Alicia. Every lie, every theft, every time you've been with someone else. The question is, how much of it do you want made public? She stared at him for a long moment, and he saw something shift in her expression. The fake vulnerability disappeared, replaced by cold calculation. Fine. You want to play hardball? Let's play. You'll be hearing from my lawyer. I look forward to it. She turned and walked to her car. Before getting in, she called back. You'll never see Emma again. We'll see about that. Caleb watched her drive away, then called Victor Crane. She just threatened to keep my daughter from me. Even if Emma's not biologically mine, I've been her legal father for 2 years. What are my options? File for emergency custody. With the evidence of your wife's fraud and her multiple affairs, plus her threat to deny you access to the child you've been supporting, we can make a strong case that she's an unfit mother. Do it. The next 3 days were a blur of legal paperwork and strategic planning. Devlin Marks' surveillance team documented Alicia's every move. She was staying at her secret apartment, leaving Emma with Brandon's ex-wife during the day while she worked. The same ex-wife who had no idea that Brandon was cheating on his girlfriend with Alicia. This keeps getting better. Devlin reported during their Thursday morning meeting. Brandon's been telling his ex-wife that he's working late most nights. Meanwhile, he's with your wife. And your wife's been telling the babysitter that she's working late while she's actually with the doctor. The doctor? Dr. Richard Hayes. Married, 2 kids, practices at General Hospital. He thinks he's Alicia's only side piece. Has no idea about Brandon? Caleb studied the surveillance photos. His wife moving between 3 different men like she was running a schedule. None of them knew about the others. She's been playing everyone. Gets worse. We tracked her finances through the accounts she thinks you don't know about. She's been accepting money from all 3 of you. Brandon's been paying for her apartment. The doctor's been buying her jewelry and paying for spa treatments. You've been supporting her and the kid. How much has she stolen in total? From you directly? About $200,000 over the past year? But if you include the money she's taken from the other men under false pretenses, we're probably looking at close to $500,000. Caleb felt that cold focus sharpening. Is any of this recoverable? Most of it. She's been sloppy with money trails. Your attorney can go after all of it in the divorce, plus punitive damages for fraud. What about criminal charges? Bank fraud, identity theft, forgery, extortion? Yeah, there are definitely criminal charges available. The DA would love a case this clear-cut. That afternoon, Victor Crane called with an update. I've filed for emergency custody of Emma, citing your wife's fraudulent behavior and her threat to deny you access. I've also filed fraud charges that will freeze all her assets pending investigation. And I've filed for immediate divorce on grounds of adultery and financial misconduct. How long before she's served? She should be getting the papers right about now. Caleb's phone rang 15 minutes later, Alicia screaming so loud he had to hold the phone away from his ear. You bastard, you filed for custody? You can't take Emma from me. Watch me. She's not even your daughter. Then you committed fraud by accepting child support under false pretenses. That's a felony, Alicia. You're insane? No judge will give you custody of a child that isn't yours? Maybe, but they definitely won't give custody to a mother who's committed multiple felonies and is sleeping with 3 different men while neglecting her child. The line went quiet except for her heavy breathing. I'll destroy you, she said finally. I'll tell everyone you scared me. I'll say you threatened me. You'll what? Lie some more? Good luck with that. Every conversation we've had since I found out about your affairs has been recorded. Every threat you've made, every admission of guilt, every lie you've told, it's all documented. You can't record me without my consent. Actually, I can. This is a one-party consent state. Look it up. He hung up and immediately called Devlin. She's going to escalate. I need full security on this house and surveillance on her apartment. If she's planning something stupid, I want it documented. Already on it. My team's been monitoring her communications. She's been texting Brandon about making Caleb pay and asking the doctor for money to get away from her controlling husband. She's spinning 3 different stories to 3 different men. Are they buying it? Brandon is. He's talking about confronting you. The doctor's more skeptical. He's asking questions about why she needs money if she's married to a successful engineer. What about Brandon's ex-wife? Still has no idea. But that's about to change. Friday evening, Caleb was reviewing custody paperwork when his doorbell rang. Through the security camera, he saw Brandon Fields standing on his porch, alone. Caleb opened the door but didn't invite him in. We need to talk, Brandon said. His voice was tight with barely controlled anger. About what? About the lies you've been telling Alicia. About the way you've been treating her. What lies would those be? She told me you've been controlling her money, threatening her, keeping her isolated from her friends. Caleb almost laughed. Brandon, how long have you been sleeping with my wife? Brandon's face flushed. Watch your mouth. No, seriously, I'm curious about the timeline. Was it before our wedding or after? Because I have video evidence of both. I don't know what you think you know. I know you've been screwing her for over a year. I know you've been paying for her apartment. I know you told her you love her and want to start a family together. Caleb pulled out his phone. Want to see the text messages? Brandon stepped closer, his hands clenched into fists. You're trying to manipulate her. Make her think she can't trust me. She can't trust you, just like she can't trust Dr. Hayes. Brandon's expression changed. Who? Dr. Richard Hayes, the other man she's been sleeping with. The one who's been buying her jewelry while you pay her rent. You're lying. Caleb showed him a photo from Devlin's surveillance. Alicia kissing a man in a white coat outside the hospital. Brandon stared at the image, his face cycling through confusion, anger, and hurt. She's been playing all of us, Caleb said quietly. The difference is, I'm done being played. This is fake. You doctored this photo. There are dozens more. Videos, too. Want to see her telling him she loves him? Same words she's been saying to you? Brandon's shoulders sagged. She said you controlled her money and cut her off from everyone she cared about. Did she mention that she stole $200,000 from me? Or that she forged my signature on loan documents? Or that she's been lying about Emma's paternity? Emma's your daughter. No, Brandon. Emma's your daughter. DNA test confirmed it last week. The color drained from Brandon's face. That's impossible. Want to see the lab results? Brandon sat down heavily on the porch steps. For a moment, Caleb almost felt sorry for him. Almost. She's been using you just like she used me, Caleb said. The only difference is, I found out first. What are you going to do? I'm going to make sure she pays for what she's done. To all of us. Brandon looked up at him. She really stole from you? Bank fraud, identity theft, forgery. The police will probably arrest her next week. And Emma deserves better than a mother who lies to everyone she claims to love. Brandon stood up slowly. I need to go. Brandon. Caleb waited until he turned around. She's going to call you tonight. She's going to cry and tell you I'm lying about everything. She's going to beg you to help her. How do you know? Because that's what she does. She manipulates people who care about her. Brandon walked to his car without responding. Caleb watched him drive away, then called Devlin. Brandon just left. He knows about the doctor now. Think he'll warn her? I think he's going to confront her. Either way, it works in our favor. Why's that? Because when people get emotional, they make mistakes. And Alicia is about to get very emotional. The call came at 11 p.m. Alicia sobbing hysterically. Brandon won't answer his phone. What did you say to him? I told him the truth. You're destroying everything. Emma needs stability. Emma needs parents who don't lie to her and steal from people who love them. I never stole anything. $200,000 says otherwise. That was our money. Our money that you moved to secret accounts without telling me? Our money that you used to pay for hotel rooms with other men? I was going to pay it back. When? After you divorced me and took half of everything I own? Silence, then quieter. It doesn't have to be like this, Caleb. We can work this out. No, we can't. You made your choice when you decided to betray everything we built together. I made mistakes, but I love you. You love my paycheck. You love my health insurance. You love the stability I provide while you sleep with other men. That's not true. Which part? Sleeping with other men or loving my money? I want to come home. You don't have a home here anymore. Please, Caleb, I'll do anything. Anything? Anything. Confess to the fraud. Return the money you stole. Give me full custody of Emma. Disappear from our lives forever. I can't do that. Then we have nothing to talk about. He hung up and turned off his phone. Saturday morning brought a knock at the door. This time it was Dr. Hayes. Tall, well-dressed, nervous. Mr. Walker, I'm Richard Hayes. I think we need to talk. About Alicia? About the situation we've both found ourselves in? Caleb invited him in, curious about what this man knew. She told me you were separated, Dr. Hayes said without preamble. She said you were controlling and that she felt unsafe around you. What else did she tell you? That she was filing for divorce but needed money for legal fees. That you'd frozen her access to your joint accounts out of spite. How much money did you give her? Dr. Hayes looked uncomfortable. Over the past 6 months? Maybe $15,000? For legal fees that she never actually paid to a lawyer she never actually hired? I'm starting to realize that, yes. Did she mention Brandon? Who's Brandon? Caleb showed him the surveillance photos. Dr. Hayes studied them in silence. She's been seeing him the whole time she's been seeing you, Caleb explained. And she's been taking money from both of you while stealing from me. My God, I have a family. If my wife finds out, she won't find out from me. But you should know that Alicia's about to be arrested for fraud. When that happens, your name might come up in the investigation. Dr. Hayes paled. Arrested? Bank fraud, identity theft, forgery. She's been running a sophisticated scam on multiple people for over a year. What can I do? Stop giving her money, stop seeing her, and maybe talk to a lawyer about protecting yourself when this becomes public. Dr. Hayes left looking like a man whose world had just collapsed, which Caleb supposed it had. Sunday morning, Caleb woke up to his phone buzzing with missed calls and text messages, all from Alicia, growing increasingly frantic. Please call me back. We need to talk. Brandon won't see me anymore. Richard says I'm lying about everything. You've turned everyone against me. This isn't over. You'll pay for this. The last message had been sent at 3 a.m. Caleb forwarded all of them to Victor Crane and Devlin Marks, then got dressed for what he knew would be an interesting day. The first call was from Lauren. She showed up at my apartment last night at midnight. Completely hysterical. She was ranting about how you've destroyed her life and turned everyone against her. What did you tell her? I told her she destroyed her own life when she decided to cheat on you and steal your money. She didn't take it well. Did she threaten you? She said I was a witch who never liked her anyway. Then she said you'd be sorry for what you've done to her. Did you record any of it? Every word. I figured you'd want documentation. The second call was from Victor Crane. The court approved your emergency custody petition. Alicia has to turn Emma over to you by 6 p.m. today, and she's only allowed supervised visitation until the fraud charges are resolved. What about the divorce? She hasn't responded to the filing yet. She has until tomorrow to get a lawyer and file her response. If she doesn't, we can proceed with a default judgment. Meaning what? Meaning you get everything you're asking for, full custody, full asset recovery, and she gets nothing. The third call was from Devlin. Your wife spent yesterday driving around town trying to find someone to help her. She went to Brandon's house. He wouldn't let her in. She went to the doctor's office. Security escorted her out. She even tried to go to your workplace, but they have her on a no trespass list now. My workplace. Yeah, she called Friday trying to get you fired. Told them you were emotionally unstable and dangerous. HR wasn't impressed, especially when they found out she's under investigation for fraud. Where is she now? Her apartment. She's been there since about 2 a.m. My team says she's been drinking and making phone calls all morning. To who? Unknown numbers. We're working on getting the call logs. At 4 p.m., Alicia arrived at Caleb's house with Emma. The toddler ran to him immediately, wrapping her small arms around his legs. Daddy! Despite everything, despite knowing she wasn't his biological daughter, Caleb's heart melted. Emma was innocent in all this. Whatever happened between him and Alicia, Emma deserved protection and stability. Alicia looked terrible. Her hair was unwashed, her clothes wrinkled, her eyes red from crying. You're really going to do this? She asked. Take her from me? I'm going to protect her from you. I'm her mother. You're a fraud and a liar who's been too busy screwing other men to take proper care of her. That's not true. When's the last time you spent a full day with Emma? When's the last time you put her to bed yourself? When's the last time you weren't dumping her on babysitters so you could meet up with your boyfriends? Alicia didn't answer. I thought so. She needs her mother. She needs stability. She needs someone who puts her first instead of using her as leverage in their scams. Emma tugged on Caleb's shirt. Daddy, I hungry. I'll make you a snack, sweetheart. He looked at Alicia. You can visit her on Saturdays, supervised visits only, as ordered by the court. This isn't over, Caleb. Yes, it is. I'll find a way to make you pay for this. You already tried. It didn't work out the way you planned. Alicia left without saying goodbye to Emma. That evening, Caleb sat on his living room floor playing blocks with the little girl he'd raised as his own daughter. Emma was chattering about her day, completely unaware that her world had just been turned upside down. His phone buzzed with a text from an unknown number. You think you've won, but this is just the beginning. I know things about you that could destroy your life. He forwarded the message to his legal team and blocked the number. 10 minutes later, another unknown number. Emma will hate you when she finds out what you did to her mother. Block and forward. Another number. I'm going to tell everyone you're not Emma's real father. She'll never forgive you. Block and forward. By the time Emma went to bed, Caleb had received 17 threatening messages from different numbers, all with the same desperate, angry tone, all from Alicia. Monday morning brought news that changed everything. She's been arrested, Victor Crane reported. The DA filed charges this morning. Bank fraud, identity theft, forgery, and extortion. Extortion? The threatening messages you've been receiving. Turns out she was sending similar threats to Brandon and Dr. Hayes, demanding money in exchange for not revealing their affairs to their families. Is she in jail? Released on bail, but she had to surrender her passport. She's not going anywhere. What about the divorce? She hired a lawyer, but he withdrew from the case this morning after learning about the criminal charges. She's representing herself now. That's not going to go well for her. No, it's not. Tuesday's court hearing was a disaster for Alicia. She showed up without proper paperwork, tried to argue that the fraud charges were fabricated, and accused Caleb of orchestrating a conspiracy to frame her. The judge wasn't impressed. Mrs. Walker, do you have any evidence to support these claims? He's been planning this for months. He hired people to follow me, and do you have evidence that your husband committed any crimes? He's trying to steal my daughter. According to the DNA test and evidence, the child in question is not biologically related to your husband. Yet, he's been providing financial support under the assumption that he was the father. Can you explain that discrepancy? Alicia's lawyer, the public defender assigned to her criminal case, tried to intervene. Your Honor, my client's personal relationships aren't relevant to the fraud charges. Actually, they are. The false paternity claim is part of the pattern of deception that enabled the financial crimes. The judge awarded Caleb full custody of Emma, full recovery of stolen assets, and alimony from Alicia to cover Emma's ongoing expenses. Furthermore, the judge continued, given the defendant's pattern of threatening behavior and financial crimes, I'm issuing a restraining order. Mrs. Walker is not to contact her former husband except through attorneys, and her visitation with the minor child will remain supervised pending resolution of the criminal charges. Alicia stood up, her face flushed with rage. This is insane! You can't take my daughter away because of some money problems. Mrs. Walker, you've been convicted of defrauding multiple people out of hundreds of thousands of dollars while lying about your child's paternity. This court considers you a flight risk and a danger to the child's stability. I demand a different judge. This one's been bribed. Mrs. Walker, you're in contempt of court. Bailiff, please escort her out. Security officers flanked Alicia as she screamed threats at Caleb on her way out of the courtroom. You'll pay for this! I'll make sure everyone knows what kind of monster you really are. Caleb watched her disappear through the courthouse doors, feeling nothing but cold satisfaction. Outside, Victor Crane shook his hand. That went better than expected. She just destroyed any sympathy the judge might have had for her. What happens next? Criminal trial in 6 weeks. Civil recovery will take longer, but we'll get most of your money back. The house, the investments, the stolen funds, it's all coming back to you. And Emma? She's yours until Alicia proves she's fit to be a mother again. Given her current trajectory, that's not happening anytime soon. That evening, Caleb received a call from Devlin Marks. Interesting development. Brandon's ex-wife found out about the affair. How? Someone sent her copies of all the surveillance photos. Anonymous package, no return address. Someone? Someone who knows about our investigation but isn't us? My guess, Brandon's been talking to friends, trying to get support, and one of them decided his ex-wife deserved to know the truth. What's her reaction? She's filing for custody of their kids and going after him for infidelity-based alimony. Turns out their prenup has a cheating clause. And Dr. Hayes? His wife found out too, same anonymous package. He's sleeping in his office at the hospital. Caleb felt a grim smile cross his face. The ripple effects of Alicia's destruction were spreading beyond what he'd planned. There's more, Devlin continued. Alicia's been trying to contact journalists, claiming she's the victim of an elaborate frame-up. Any takers? One blogger who specializes in wronged women's stories. But when they started fact-checking her claims, they lost interest fast. Because the facts don't support her story. Because the facts make her look like a sociopath. Wednesday morning, Caleb woke up to Emma's laughter echoing through the house. She was watching cartoons in the living room, completely adapted to her new routine. For a 2-year-old, she was remarkably resilient. Daddy, pancakes? Sure, sweetheart. As he cooked breakfast, Caleb's phone rang. Lauren, have you seen the news? What news? Channel 7 is running a story about Alicia's arrest. Local woman charged with elaborate marriage fraud. They're interviewing Brandon's ex-wife. Caleb turned on the television. The reporter was standing outside the courthouse, describing Alicia's case as one of the most sophisticated domestic fraud schemes in recent memory. The anchor introduced a segment with Brandon's ex-wife, identified only as Jennifer M. She destroyed multiple families with her lies, Jennifer said, her voice tight with controlled anger. My children don't understand why Daddy doesn't live with us anymore. They don't understand why Mommy cries at night. This woman is a predator. The story included statements from Dr. Hayes' attorney and brief comments from Victor Crane about the ongoing civil case. The financial damage is extensive, Crane said. We're talking about a systematic pattern of fraud that spans more than a year and involves multiple victims. Alicia's public defender declined to comment. Caleb turned off the television and focused on making Emma's pancakes. The media attention was satisfying, but it wasn't the point. The point was protecting Emma and making sure Alicia faced consequences for her actions. His phone buzzed with a text from another unknown number. You did this. You destroyed my life for revenge. He blocked the number without responding. Another text, different number. Emma will grow up knowing her father is a vindictive monster. Block another. I'll end myself and make sure everyone knows it's your fault. This one he forwarded to both Victor Crane and the police. Threats of self-harm needed to be taken seriously, even from someone like Alicia. The police called an hour later. Mr. Walker, we're sending officers to check on your ex-wife. Have you received any other threatening communications? 17 messages yesterday, 3 more this morning, all from different numbers. We'll add those to the harassment charges. She's violating the restraining order by contacting you. Do you think she might hurt herself? Hard to say. But given her pattern of manipulative behavior, it's more likely she's trying to generate sympathy or guilt you into dropping charges. That's not happening. Didn't think so. We'll keep you posted. Thursday brought a surprise visitor, Brandon Fields, looking like he hadn't slept in days. I owe you an apology, he said when Caleb opened the door. For what? For believing her lies about you? For not seeing what she really was? Caleb studied him. Brandon looked genuinely remorseful, but Caleb wasn't in a forgiving mood. What do you want, Brandon? To tell you that I'm testifying against her in the criminal trial. Why? Because she destroyed my marriage, too. Jennifer won't let me see my kids except under supervision. I lost my job because the company doesn't want the negative publicity. My lawyer says I might face criminal charges for helping her launder money. Did you know it was laundered money? No. She told me it was from her divorce settlement, said you were fighting the payments and she needed help accessing her own funds. And you believed her. I wanted to believe her. She was convincing. She's a sociopath, Brandon. They're all convincing. Brandon nodded miserably. The prosecutor says my testimony could help put her away for 5 to 10 years. Good. I know you hate me. I know I don't deserve forgiveness, but I want you to know that I'll do whatever it takes to make this right. You can't make it right. You helped her steal from me and lie to me for over a year. I know. You slept with my wife in my bed. I know. You're Emma's biological father, but you've never taken any responsibility for her. Brandon's face crumpled. I didn't know. If I had known, would it have mattered? Would you have left your wife and family to raise Emma with Alicia? I don't know. At least that's honest. Can I see her? Just once? No. She's my daughter. She's the daughter you abandoned while you were screwing her mother behind my back. You gave up any claim to her when you chose to be Alicia's secret instead of Emma's father. Brandon's shoulders sagged. You're right. I know I'm right. For what it's worth, I'm sorry about all of it. Your apology doesn't change anything, Brandon. But your testimony might help make sure Alicia can't do this to anyone else. Brandon left without another word. Friday morning, Victor Crane called with an update. Alicia's been arrested again. Violation of the restraining order, harassment, and making terroristic threats. The messages about hurting herself? Among others. Turns out she's been threatening Brandon and Dr. Hayes, too. The DA's adding charges. Is she getting bail this time? Doubtful. She's proven she can't follow court orders. Good. There's something else. She wants to meet with you. Absolutely not. She claims she has information about the fraud that could help with recovery of your assets. She's lying. Probably. But her attorney insists she's willing to make a full confession in exchange for a plea deal. What kind of plea deal? Reduced sentence if she cooperates with asset recovery and provides information about any other victims. Caleb considered this. How much time would she serve? 2 to 4 years instead of 5 to 10. And she'd have to confess to everything? Everything. On the record, under oath. I want to think about it. Take your time. But Caleb, don't let her manipulate you again. This could be another scheme. That evening, Caleb sat in his home office reviewing financial documents. Most of his stolen money would be recovered eventually, but it would take time. The house was secure, Emma was safe, and Alicia was in jail where she belonged. His phone rang. Lauren. How are you holding up? Better than expected. Emma's adjusting well, the legal case is solid, and Alicia's running out of options. Are you happy? The question caught him off guard. Happy? You've spent months planning revenge. You've destroyed her life, exposed her crimes, taken away her daughter. Are you satisfied? Caleb looked at photos of Emma on his desk. The little girl who called him daddy, who trusted him completely, who had no idea her world had been built on lies. I'm not happy, he said finally, but I'm at peace. There's a difference. Happy is what I was before I found out about the betrayal, when I thought my marriage was real and my family was honest. I can't go back to that. But peace? Peace is knowing that Emma's safe. Peace is knowing that Alicia can't hurt anyone else the way she hurt us. Peace is knowing that the truth came out. Do you miss her, Alicia? I miss who I thought she was, but that person never existed. Saturday brought Emma's first supervised visit with Alicia. Caleb drove her to the family services office, where a social worker would monitor their interaction. Is Mommy sad? Emma asked in her car seat. Yes, sweetheart, Mommy's very sad. Why? Because Mommy made some bad choices and now she has to live somewhere else for a while. Will she come home? Caleb's throat tightened. I don't know, Emma, but you'll always have me. And Aunt Lauren? And Aunt Lauren? The social worker's office was sterile and uncomfortable. Alicia was already there, looking thin and pale in an orange jumpsuit. When Emma ran to her, Alicia burst into tears. Mommy! Emma hugged her legs, confused by the strange room and her mother's tears. Hi, baby. Mommy missed you so much. Caleb watched from across the room as Alicia held Emma, whispering things he couldn't hear. The social worker took notes, observing their interaction. After 30 minutes, it was time to go. I don't want to leave Mommy, Emma protested as Caleb picked her up. I know, sweetheart, but we have to go home now. Can Mommy come too? Not today. As they left, Alicia called out, Caleb, please, can we talk? He turned around. What's there to talk about? I know you hate me, but please don't take Emma away forever. She needs her mother. She needs a mother who puts her first. You've never done that. I can change. No, you can't. People like you don't change. You just get better at lying. People like me? Sociopaths, narcissists, whatever label fits someone who can look their husband in the eye and lie about loving him while stealing his money and sleeping around. The social worker looked uncomfortable but didn't intervene. That's not who I am, Alicia said weakly. That's exactly who you are. The only question is whether Emma grows up thinking that kind of behavior is normal. You're going to poison her against me. I'm going to protect her from you. There's a difference. Caleb carried Emma out of the building. In the car, she was quiet for a long time. Daddy? Yes, sweetheart. Why is Mommy in trouble? Because she told lies and took things that didn't belong to her. That's bad. Yes, it's very bad. Will she say sorry? Caleb glanced at her in the rearview mirror. Even at 2 years old, Emma understood that apologies were supposed to follow wrongdoing. I don't know, Emma. Some people find it very hard to say sorry. You say sorry when you make mistakes. That's right. And that's what good people do. Sunday morning, Victor Crane called with news about Alicia's plea offer. She's willing to confess to everything in exchange for a 3-year sentence, full restitution, cooperation with other investigations, and she gives up all parental rights to Emma. All parental rights? Voluntary termination. You'd be Emma's sole legal parent, free to make all decisions about her future without Alicia's input. Including adoption? If you choose to formally adopt her, yes. Though given that you've been her legal father since birth, it's largely a paperwork formality. What's the catch? No catch, she's desperate. Her public defender thinks this is the best deal she'll get. Why would she give up Emma? Because she knows she's going to prison either way. And this deal guarantees she gets out in 3 years instead of 10. She's cutting her losses. And Emma? Emma gets stability. No more custody battles, no more supervised visits, no more wondering if Mommy's coming home. Caleb thought about Emma's question the day before. Why is Mommy in trouble? What do you recommend? Take the deal. 3 years is long enough for Emma to adjust to life without her biological mother, and you get complete legal control over her future. Do it. Monday's plea hearing was surprisingly brief. Alicia stood before the judge and confessed to bank fraud, identity theft, forgery, and extortion. She admitted to stealing $200,000 from her husband, accepting money from 2 other men under false pretenses, and forging legal documents. Do you understand that by accepting this plea agreement, you're giving up all parental rights to the minor child? The judge asked. Yes, Your Honor. And you're doing this voluntarily, without coercion? Yes, Your Honor. Very well. The court accepts your guilty plea and sentences you to 3 years in state prison with credit for time served. You're ordered to pay full restitution to all victims, and your parental rights are hereby terminated. Alicia was led away in handcuffs. She didn't look at Caleb or try to speak to him. It was over. Outside the courthouse, reporters surrounded Caleb and his legal team. Mr. Walker, how do you feel about your ex-wife's confession? Justice has been served. What about your daughter? How will you explain this to her? Emma is safe and loved. That's all that matters. Do you forgive your ex-wife? Caleb stopped walking and looked directly into the camera. Forgiveness is for people who show remorse. Alicia is a sociopath who destroyed multiple families for her own selfish gain. She's never shown genuine remorse for anything she's done. Some people are calling this revenge rather than justice. Some people don't understand the difference between accountability and revenge. I didn't destroy Alicia's life. I exposed the crimes she committed. The justice system did the rest. Will you let Emma visit her mother in prison? Emma doesn't have a mother anymore. She has me, she has my sister, and she has a future free from the chaos and lies that defined her first 2 years of life. That evening, Caleb sat in Emma's room watching her sleep. The little girl who'd been at the center of so much drama was peaceful now, surrounded by stuffed animals and picture books. His phone buzzed with a text from Lauren. How are you doing? Good. It's finally over. Any regrets? Caleb thought about that. Did he regret exposing Alicia's crimes? Did he regret fighting for Emma? Did he regret refusing to be a victim? No regrets. She made her choices. I made mine. And Emma? Emma gets to grow up knowing that truth matters, that actions have consequences, that the people who love her will protect her. You've changed? Yes, into someone scary. Caleb smiled grimly. Into someone who can't be fooled twice. 6 months later, Caleb received a letter from prison. Alicia's handwriting, his address carefully written on the envelope. He threw it away without opening it. Emma was 3 now, happy and healthy and completely bonded to him. She called Lauren Aunt and had no memory of supervised visits or courtroom drama. To her, Caleb was simply Daddy, the man who made her pancakes, read her bedtime stories, and kept her safe from the chaos of the world. Sometimes she asked about her first mommy, but the questions were curious rather than yearning. Caleb answered them honestly but simply. Mommy made bad choices and had to go away. Daddy loves you and will always take care of you. It was enough. A year after Alicia's sentencing, Caleb received a call from Victor Crane. She's trying to appeal the termination of her parental rights. On what grounds? Claims she was coerced into giving them up as part of the plea deal. Will it work? No. The termination was voluntary, and on the record, she had independent counsel. There's no basis for appeal. Good. There's something else. She's been writing to Emma. What? Sending letters to your address. The prison says they can't stop her from writing to family members. Emma's not her family member anymore. Her parental rights were terminated. Legally, you're correct, but the prison administration doesn't always understand the nuances. What do the letters say? We intercepted them through the postal service. You can request that for safety reasons. They're typical manipulation tactics, telling Emma that Mommy loves her, that Daddy is keeping them apart, that she'll come home someday. Emma's not getting those letters. No, we're having them redirected to my office. But Caleb, she's going to be released in 18 months. You need to be prepared for her to try contacting Emma directly. She has no legal right to Emma. She has no legal rights, but that doesn't mean she won't try. People like Alicia don't accept defeat gracefully. Then I'll get another restraining order. You should, and you should consider moving. Moving? New city, new schools, new life. Make it harder for her to find you when she gets out. Caleb looked around his house, the house he'd fought to keep, the house where Emma had taken her first steps and spoken her first words. The idea of leaving felt like letting Alicia win. I'll think about it. But as the months passed and Alicia's release date approached, the idea of starting fresh somewhere else became more appealing. Emma was enrolled in preschool now, making friends, building a life. But she was young enough that a move wouldn't traumatize her. 3 months before Alicia's scheduled release, Caleb made his decision. He accepted a job offer in Seattle, sold the house, and prepared to relocate across the country. Why are we moving, Daddy? Emma asked as they packed her toys. Because Daddy got a new job in a new city. Will I make new friends? Lots of new friends. Will Aunt Lauren come visit? Aunt Lauren will visit all the time. What about Mommy? Caleb paused in his packing. Emma rarely asked about Alicia anymore, but the question still came occasionally. Your first Mommy will stay where she is, but you'll have me and we'll have adventures in our new city. Okay, Daddy. The week before they moved, Caleb received one final call from Victor Crane. She's being released early. Good behavior. How early? Next month? Before or after we move? After. You'll be gone before she gets out. Has she tried to contact us? She doesn't know about the move yet. Your forwarding address is confidential. Good. Caleb, there's something else. The private investigator's been monitoring her communications from prison. She's been in contact with Brandon. Brandon's been visiting her? Writing letters? Apparently they're planning some kind of reunion when she gets out. He's as stupid as I thought. Gets worse, they're talking about trying to get Emma back. On what legal basis? There isn't one, but people like Alicia don't always operate within legal boundaries. All the more reason to be 3,000 miles away when she gets out. The day they left for Seattle, Caleb drove past the courthouse where everything had ended 3 years earlier. Emma was asleep in her car seat, clutching a stuffed dinosaur Lauren had given her. In 18 hours, they'd be in a new city where nobody knew their story, where Emma could grow up as just another kid with a single dad, not as the victim of an elaborate fraud case, where Alicia could never find them. Caleb's phone buzzed with a text from an unknown number. I know you moved. I'll find you both. He blocked the number and kept driving. Some wars never really end, but some people learn to disappear completely. As the highway stretched toward their new life, Caleb allowed himself a small smile. Alicia could spend the rest of her life looking for them. She'd never find what she couldn't identify, and Emma Walker would grow up to be someone completely different from the little girl who'd been torn between truth and lies. You started this war, he said quietly, not wanting to wake Emma. I ended it. In the rearview mirror, the city where his old life had died grew smaller and smaller until it disappeared entirely. He never looked back.